Grace, what's going down?
Not much.
You hear what I'm playing?
Yeah, I hear Michael Jackson.
that's that's your guy, ain't it?
Yeah, that's my dude.
When his hair caught on fire, was you depressed about that? Did you
Yeah,
go
I
through
was
something?
depressed. I cried. Don't do that. Get well card and everything. Don't do that.
You are not alone. I thought it was fitting for the moment that you are not alone. You know, them white people that be falling out at the concert, you'd have been right in there with them, when you'd have been falling out at the concert.
I went to his concert. I didn't fall out.
Yeah, you did. You
No, I
probably
didn't.
on the low low, you probably fainted for like 3 seconds. Like,
I did not. I was
there
dead.
he is. What's going down?
Now you always trying to crack jokes.
I didn't know. I just thought that it would be fitting. That song right there would be fitting for today's topic. But yeah, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, man. So I wanted to do something kind of cool. And then when I made the commercial up, I kind of made you a co-host.
I don't need you to make me no calls.
Huh?
I don't need you to make me no calls.
But it's too late.
Just do
The
your show.
commercial is already done. Don't let the people down.
Just do your show. You doing
It's
too
a
much.
demand. If people start demanding that they want to see us, then you have to show up. So just carve an hour out your day and then make
You
it
can't
shake.
commit me. You can't commit
Huh?
my time.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I
it's
hate for
people.
everybody trying to make plans for my time.
Well, it's there. It's in the schedule. So just stick to the schedule, okay?
Mm-mm,
But I got
mm-mm.
some people on different pages. I did learn a little bit of the stuff that you was telling me. Like, I got the thing on how to go back. Now on this restreaming service I got, they doing like thumbnails where they doing
Mhm,
like little bitty short clips, and so they allow me, like, after this podcast, it'll
mhm.
automatically take about like four of them, and it'll make like some short clips, and then it'll I could post them to like Facebook, TikTok, and stuff like that.
Okay. What's up?
Yeah. So, and then I was thinking about just giving you the account and giving you my code, so then you can just go in there and just work it, and then you can.
Okay. You can't make plans for me. You can't make plans
I'm,
for my
I'm-
time now. You're doing too much.
listen, if you're the big sister, you need to start acting like one. You dig what I'm saying? If you listen, you the oldest, so do old shit. You dig what I'm saying? Like, when people get older, they got wisdom and knowledge, and
I
so I'm
know
just
it,
saying,
but you can't
like,
manage people time when they
but
get older. They don't have time for that.
I'm just saying I'm delegating you the
Mm-mm,
position
mm-mm.
to kind of like manage it. But I'm just saying, like, I do all the editing, all the videos. I come up with all the like the little creativity stuff, and then you go behind the scenes and you make it pop. Can you do that? Can you pop? Can you make it pop? Can you make be,
No.
be honest? So I'm saying people could think we like dope, like we really dope, but then you make it pop. Get that in your mind. Pop. Think about pop. Straight up, like, pop. Make it pop for us. You think what I'm saying? Because I'm saying if the money start coming in, then it's gonna pop. We're gonna be popping tags for real. Straight up. You're gonna be with the pop then if the money start coming in. So,
I
but
need to
yeah,
try to see some money first then.
okay. But listen, did you bring something to drink?
No.
You ain't got nothing to drink.
Mm-mm. I got
So
some
you
water.
so you don't turn up for Christ or burn off for life.
I got some water.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, so listen, I usually do birthday shout outs, but I got a lot of stuff that I want to ask you. And then, the situation that happened with you, especially like being in the military. I think it'd be good if you know what I mean, talk a little bit about your story. And then that might help like some people out, you know what I mean? Because it's mental health awareness. Linda, what's going down? She's planning on being a guest too. So I told her to
Okay.
tap in because she wanted to just kind of get like a feel for like the platform and stuff like that. And then maybe like next week she might want to tell her story. So you down with that? Okay, so I'm gonna try to keep it under the hour because I know you're ahead of us. So I'm just gonna start showing some of the videos, and then we'll just open it up from there.
Okay.
All right, check this one out. The first one is 38. So let me do this.
Why is mental health awareness important? Well, mental health affects everyone, everywhere. According to the World Health Organization, around 1 in 4 people around the world will experience a mental health issue in their lifetime. Cultural attitudes towards mental health vary, but stigma and lack of awareness are common barriers to seeking help. And in many places, mental health resources are scarce. Promoting mental health awareness can reduce stigma, encourage people to seek help, and improve overall well being. It's about understanding that mental health is as important as physical health. Support global mental health by advocating for better resources, education, and policies. We are capable of creating a world where everyone has access to the mental health care they need.
Listen to this, okay? So what I was trying to do when I got her, you know how prevalent it is in the black community or in our culture.
Hmm.
For them to celebrate it for the month of May and stuff like that. What is like your thoughts on like mental health since you went through it? Like just say as far as people trying to get some help, what would you?
I think it's important that people get help. I know in our community, it's always been a stigma. People don't want to go sit on somebody's couch, but they want to come and worry you and talk ugly about their problems. You need to talk to somebody besides your family and friends and Jesus. You really need to go sit on somebody's couch and get some help. And it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to have to take medicine if that's what's going to help you be better, and help you to get through whatever traumatic experience that you went through. Because the thing is, the experience never leaves you, but it's how you deal with it that
Yeah,
I think is important.
right. And so one of the things that I think though too is just like when people always be trying to say pray about it, this and that. But I think that that's why God created therapists and counselors. He
Yeah.
gave them that, that knowledge and that wisdom to sit down and listen to you. Sometimes you need to go holler at somebody that can show you how to take those thoughts and you know what I mean.
And help you come up with a real plan to deal with it. Because I know when I was going through my situation, I didn't really like any of my therapists, but she did, make some sense in certain areas where she, was coming up with like a sleep plan,
Yeah,
like use your bedroom just for sleeping, um, don't just always be in there in the bed watching TV, eating or whatever, separate that stuff because
man.
sometimes you get depressed and then you just always in the bed.
Yeah,
Um, my doctor told me, it's good to follow your mind and follow that your intuition. But sometimes, he was like, if you want to exercise and your mind is telling you don't exercise, he was like, at that point, I'm telling you don't follow your mind, go exercise because
exactly.
exercise can help you, um, help with endorphins and
Yeah,
really, help you, feel better. So I think mental health is important, especially for us, and it's been such a stigma. But I'm so glad that people are talking about it, that they're having awareness about it, and hopefully people will go get the help you need. Because I'm gonna tell you something, there's no worse than somebody, and I'm not trying to minimize nobody's stuff. Somebody to be walk around here crazy.
right.
You know you crazy, and you know you need help, and you want to get help. And you
Yeah,
just
and,
out.
and it's not funny, but it's real because I've seen it. I'm talking about in Indianapolis in our neighborhoods. We had like
Mhm.
so many people that that was going through it, but they wasn't doing nothing about it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And whether it was a drug or something that traumatized them, like
Mhm.
tomorrow, I started working with the homeless vets uh downtown, right there where David and Joyce is at. Behind them, they got like a homeless vet. Let me
Oh,
see
okay.
where my volume. They got like a little homeless thing for like vets, and so we go down there on Tuesday, and we're trying to help them with starting all over, being homeless. What does that feel like, and things that you can do to try to get back up on your feet. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it was cool. So then when we got to talk, because when you sit and you kind of like listen to them, you can see some of their challenges. But like you being in the military, we was just doing like icebreakers. Like, what made you want to go into the military though?
Well, your mama had shown me this article in the newspaper, and it was like, part time, get money for college. I really thought it was a job. So the
Yeah.
recruiter showed up. I was like, this is
You seen the
army?
benefits? You seen the benefits? It was like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah, the recruiter showed up, took me out to lunch. I said, this the army? He was like, yeah. So at first I wasn't really feeling it, but then I just went on ahead and joined.
Yeah. But like, okay, so because I remember Terranique was here. You dig what I'm saying? You was still kind of young, and I remember that whole mission, man. When you cut out, you dig what I'm saying? we kind of thought it was like dangerous, but then again, it was just like, well, she cool. You dig what I'm saying? But because you know when somebody go to the military, you automatically get to look thinking movies. You dig what I'm saying? In your head, like tanks. Like I know you ain't finna go over here and do this. Is this what you signing up for? So what? Like, but did you think that that was the mission? Did you think you was gonna get involved with some shit like that?
Well, when this particular mission that we went on, it was I was my Georgia National Guard unit. We were they what happened was in New Mexico they needed some National Guard people or military to help with the borders because they didn't have enough border patrol. So Georgia was the first sent the first 150 soldiers out there to assist on the border. So we were out there and we were staying in hotels because they really didn't have anything set up for us or whatever. So we was like three, four different hotels that they had us all split up in. And so most of our people worked on the border. They worked like out there, like in the skybox. They would, be watching out to see when people come across, if people came across. And a lot of times, a lot of people just come across at night and you got 35 people that done cross over the border and you got one border patrol person. So our people was out there to really assist. Because I was a supply sergeant, didn't work out there, but I was the one behind the scenes making sure they had uniforms, they had food out there, they had water, Gatorade, and just the stuff that they needed while they was out there, making sure, just like the housing stuff. Just making sure we knew how many people was in the hotels, how many rooms we had empty if somebody left or whatever. So this particular day, it's hot in New Mexico. It's extremely hot. So I was exercising in the gym where we were staying in the hotel, and the door was broke. The keypad on the door was broke. So they had the door propped open. So I was in there on an elliptical machine, and I was going to close the door when I went in there because I put my headphones on. My song was on, Mary J. Blige, "Be Without You." I was gonna sing, and I was going to get it in. And I was like, and so I saw that the keypad was broke. I was like, no, I better not shut this because what if I can't get out? So I'm on the elliptical machine, and all of a sudden this little Mexican dude come running in, and he running, and I'm like, he must think he Rocky because it's hot outside, and you just out here running. So I'm thinking he done went
He
jogging.
training or something like
He
running.
he done came in like he about to get in some of the machines and work out or something. But that wasn't what he came to do. He so I'm on the elliptical machine and I'm in my mind cracking jokes, and then all of a sudden he just started punching me. So I just turned around like mid stroke
Hold,
pedal
hold on,
on the
time out real quick. So,
mhm.
okay, you on a treadmill because I'm trying to get a vision
I just
for
turned the
it's.
elliptical machine.
Oh, okay, elliptical machine, and then
Hmm.
he ran up on you. So while you listening to music, he just
Yeah,
stole on you.
yeah.
Oh
He
shit,
just
that's
like chin
crazy.
checked me like one two.
Wow.
So so I turned. I was like, what the hell? So I turned around. So I started swinging, and he grabbed me in the top of my head. And so as he was pulling me down, I was falling. I heard this voice say, "If you don't pull him down, you're gonna die." And I don't know how, but I grabbed
Mm.
like just the corner of his t-shirt and I just yanked it, and he fell in front of me. So when he fell in front of me, I just started punching him and I was screaming for help and nobody ever came. And then finally he just got up and just jumped up and ran out. So um at that point I didn't know which way to go because I was like, I was just stunned. So I didn't want to go back out there because I didn't know if he was still out there. So I was just standing there and I was still hollering, and all of a sudden blood just started running down my face.
Oh
And
man.
so then people started coming, and so blood was just like everywhere, and so they was like looking, trying to see where the blood was. They was putting towels and all that stuff on my face, and all I kept saying was, this guy just hit me. He just, he hit me or whatever. And people was like, well, we heard somebody screaming but we thought it was a child. And so they took me to the hospital. I ended up having like cuts in my, like in the top of my head. Like I have permanent hair loss, like my hair will not grow back. I got cut here on my arm, cut on my stomach, I got cut here in the face. He cut my lip.
So
But
he
they
had a
did,
knife.
yeah, he had a knife.
So you thought he was just swinging and punching, but he had a
Yeah,
knife.
but I thought he was, but he actually had a knife. So when because like when he cut me in the top of my head, he cut me, it's like a C. It's like a half moon or a C or whatever in the top of my head. And
Yeah.
so they did catch him, and he had, like, they called him. He was hiding in the bushes. They never found the knife, but he had my blood over him. And when they asked him, he was like, "So what about me cutting her?" He did end up going to jail. It took a while for him to go to prison because once he went to jail, he started trying to act like he was insane. So
Right.
we had to go through that whole situation. And then once it was like a year later, and the judge was like, "Yeah, he can stand trial." So then I had to go back down there for the trial. And I don't even when he came in the courtroom, I don't even think he realized who I was. Like, cause came in there, he was looking all crazy. It looked like somebody put a bowl on his head and cut around it. And
Right.
so I was just looking at it, and I'm just like, he don't even know who I am.
But not
And
only that, but like, do he even know that he almost took a life?
yeah,
Like you
I
a
know.
mother. You
Yeah,
dig what I'm saying? It's like it's all
yeah.
types of shit, boy.
Mhm,
Because listen, when we caught wind of it, you know what I mean. When you finally did tell, because you didn't open up to us like soon as it happened. But boy, you talking about mad. I can even see it on Bernice's face. You talking about horse was mad. Like, you know what I mean? You know when you can look at somebody and they
mhm.
just furiated. Cause I'm thinking I had dreams of like what can I sneak into the courtroom to hit him in his face? Like I know it's gonna be metal detectors, but can I get a brick in there? Can I come through there with a big coat on with a couple of bricks and just try to get some skin off of him or something? Cause it's like nigga, you try to, you know what I mean? Like so
Yeah.
um but
But my people, my the people that I was in the unit with, they went down to the police station and they asked the police to arrest them for 2 hours. They was like, just arrest us for 2 hours, an hour. They was like, just put us in the same cell with them.
yeah,
But I guess, he had looked like he had been in a fight because they said when he had to go to court, I guess go to court for arraignment, they said when he came back, the people in the prison, in the jail with him had put some panties on his bed and told him he got beat up by a girl.
yeah. So, but yeah, that shit right there was crazy. But so when that happened though, did you immediately try to seek like some help, like you know what I mean, for your mind?
Mm-mm. Because when it happened, I was still in shock. And the thing is, I couldn't even recognize that man in the lineup because it happened so fast. Because like I said, he came running in there. I got my headset on. I got my earbuds in. I'm listening to music. I'm really thinking he Rocky because the way he
Right.
came jogging in there, or whatever. So I really couldn't even identify this man in the lineup, to be honest. And so it didn't. It wasn't until because every day I was looking at my scars and I was in pain, and it was
Yeah.
like I don't know what happened, but it was like after my scars started like really healing is when I got depressed, is when I stopped. I was afraid to go places at night. I was like even now to this day, I'm afraid to stay in hotels. I'll go, but if
Right.
I can take somebody with me, but it's like for me, once I'm in the room, I'm not coming back out till it's time to leave. So I
Right.
won't be like in a hotel, like kicking it and then up and down. I'm not doing none of that. I'm
Right.
in there with the doors locked or whatever the case may be. Even now to this day, I sometimes I get up in the middle of the night and check my doors like 3, 4 times at night. But when it first happened, I was checking my doors like 9, 10 times, and my therapist had to help me with that because I wasn't sleeping. And so even now, the door has to be all the way open or it got to be all the way closed. Do not, if I walk in a room and the door is cracked, I'm opening the door.
Yeah.
I'm opening. It's got to be open. It got to be closed. I'm talking about cabinets. I'm talking
But
about
listen,
what it is.
when I was just down in Georgia, now that we going back and we doing the podcast, but when I was down there for the couple of days, it clicks now. You dig what I'm saying? Like the bathroom door, if I cracked it a little bit, I come back, you got the bathroom door all the way open. Or if I step outside and do something and don't like that front door, you like, boy, you got to lock front doors around here. And I'm laughing because I'm just like, boy, y'all down in Atlanta, it's dangerous, but it ain't dawning on me that you did like go through that. Um, do you think that the military responded in the proper way that they were supposed to though?
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
You didn't get the help that you think you should have got?
Now when I came back, Lee had to go off on the people to get me some help. So he even though we wasn't married, he told him that I was still his wife, and he called, and that's how I ended up getting back to Georgia,
Yeah.
um, and then being able to once I got to Georgia, because when I was there in New Mexico, they sent me to Texas, so they were responsive. They did
What
help
part
me.
of Texas was it though?
El Paso.
El Paso.
So they
Okay.
sent me to El Paso to the William Beaumont Army Hospital there. So I saw a counselor there. They gave me some antidepressants because I wouldn't go outside. Um, like at night, I wouldn't go outside. So I was afraid to go outside and stuff like that. But my soldiers, they really, took care of me. They made sure that I was straight. Like I was never by myself, pretty
Yeah.
much, except for when I was in my room. Um, but when I came back, the Georgia Nasty Guard,
That's
yeah,
what you call them
yeah, the Georgia
instead
Nasty
of the
Guard.
National Guards. They the nasty guards. Is that
Yeah.
in Columbus or the ATL?
No, my unit was in Columbus at the time.
Hmm.
So yeah, I had issues with being able to see a therapist, getting the medicine that I need. And then once I finally, was able to get all that, you know, they did take care of me. But it was a lot of paperwork. It was a lot of red tape because I was no longer on active duty. I was back in the National Guard. I think that if I would still been on active duty, it'd have been all right. But because I was back in the Nasty Guard, it was a lot.
But okay, so let me ask you this. People just steadily hit me while I'm live. So after you dealt with the National Guards, like just for people that don't understand, like what other kind of help did you try to seek on your own though? After you felt like it was something that was going on that you needed to do something else for yourself.
I ain't trying to seek nothing. They was gonna pay me. I was like, these people almost took my life. Y'all need to pay for me. Y'all need to pay for this medicine. Y'all need to pay for me to go to a therapist. I
Right,
wasn't. No, I. So for me, it was about fighting for what I deserved and what I needed because I
right,
could have easily been like no. And I was working for the city, so I had some insurance. But why should I pay for my insurance for something that happened to me when I was on active duty? I don't
exactly.
even doing that. So yeah, so I did fight for that,
I
to
wonder, did they try to fight back? Did they try to push back like they didn't owe you?
no, it was just like the whole paperwork situation, just trying to
Yeah,
get the paperwork done. But like I said, once Lee called, um, things changed. So they did, I did have like a major come and say, I'm sorry this is happening to you, that you had to go through all this red tape, but you know, you serve for us and I'm gonna fight for you and make sure you get the help and stuff that you need.
yeah,
So that's when everything changed and I was able to go um, to sit on somebody's couch and talk to them and they try to give you all kind of medicine and stuff and I was
yeah.
on Indian and all that stuff and then eventually I just felt like you know what I ain't taking this no more.
You ain't taking the medicine no more.
Stop taking it all and people's like what why you stop taking medicine. I was like I healed myself. I'm not. I had to just learn how to do other stuff. I had to learn how to meditate. um it took me a while to actually get back to exercising because I had stopped exercising altogether. But then after a while, I started back just going to the track, walking. Like at night, I would not be outside at night. As soon as it started getting dark, I'm like in the house with the door closed. And I'm gonna
Right,
tell you something too. For a long time, and I know this is probably bad to say, but for a long time, I wasn't too fond of Mexicans.
right,
I was not too fond of Mexicans. And I'm gonna tell you the person who really changed my mind about it, because I think I said something that was probably kind of racist. And Nubia was visiting, and Nubia said, "That's so racist." And I don't even remember what it was, but the way she said it, she was like, "That's so racist." And I was like, you know what? All Mexicans have not done anything to me. It's just this one little person. And
right.
then I was like, you know what? She right. That is racist. And
Yep.
I um I did change, my thought process on it. Because before, like if I see like a little Mexican man or something, I was out of there.
Right. Just just thinking that they was on some bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but how did it affect you, like far as like your relationships with other people, like with the kids, with I mean, just anything? Because I know Lee cool than a fan, especially when it come to something serious like that. That was
Hmm.
dope that he stood up and did that. But like when you start interacting with other people, did it change up for you?
No, it didn't really change up for me because I mean, I just didn't go out much or hang out with people as much, but I ain't never did that. So that wasn't really all that hard.
Right.
It wasn't really all that hard. So,
Yeah.
but I don't think that it had like an effect or whatever. I think that's why I got into comedy because I just started making jokes about stuff.
Yeah,
So
you had
yeah.
to kind of like laugh at your pain and shit like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
Right. But I'm just saying, was that kind of, did that serve as a little therapy a little bit too?
Comedy helped a lot because
Yeah.
comedy, you able to just leave it all on stage. So if something was bothering me or whatever, I just, I'll be mad. I might be mad about it or whatever, but it wasn't something that I dwell on. I'll be like, okay, how can I turn this into a joke? Where's the funny in this?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I really got into comedy because I started looking for the funny into stuff that happened. And I just realized that, and I thought one time I was like, I feel like a lot of times people in the military still crazy and won't get no help because we start using soft words like post traumatic stress disorder and stuff like that. But you remember back in the day, if somebody was in the military and they was a little off in the head, they
Mm-hmm.
said they shell shock. So you already knew.
Yeah.
Don't mess with the people.
Right.
Don't mess with them. They'll be like, they shell shock. Don't mess with them people. But and I thought that was funny. And I was like, maybe if we would have stopped saying, if we would have stopped talking about people shell shock, maybe people would go get some help. But
Yeah.
we all over talking about they got post traumatic stress disorder or whatever, whatever. We done softened it up, and now they walk right here crazy, just batshit crazy. Ain't trying to get no help. Some people.
Man, I got this guy. He's got like these little steps to like mental health trauma. Let's check out his video and let's see.
Mhm.
You dig what I'm saying? If you agree with some of the stuff that he's saying, I'm gonna show you this one real quick.
7 ways trauma impacts your mental health. Number 1, flashbacks or intrusive thoughts. Trauma makes it feel like you're reliving it over and over. These memories sneak in without warning, take over your mind and emotions. Number 2, hypervigilance. Your brain doesn't know how to turn off. After the trauma, it's always on high alert, making you feel tense and exhausted. Number 3, difficulty trusting others. Even people who care about you feel distant because past betrayals keep replaying in your mind. Number 4, chronic anxiety or depression. Unprocessed trauma weighs on you, leaving you stuck in sadness or fear that feels impossible to escape. Number 5, avoidance of triggers. To protect yourself, you start avoiding anything that reminds you of the trauma, but your world gets smaller and smaller in the process. Number 6, emotional numbing. When you experience trauma, you become disconnected from joy and from your emotions. Sometimes it's like you're watching your life from the outside. Number 7, overwhelming shame or guilt. Even when you had no control, trauma can convince you it was your fault, keeping you trapped in self-blame. 7.
Get some help. I think that's real. Um, for him to say get some help. Let me see.
Mhm.
I'm trying to get it removed. All right. Okay. So, do this. Why did it go back? All right. My screen was just messing up. All right, there we go. So now listen, some of the stuff you kind of did touch on. You did what I'm saying when you was just talking. You was touching on some of it anyway. But like, I'm gonna read them back to you, like flashbacks, intrusive
Mhm.
thoughts, reliving it over and over. So how does that play a part too? Do
It
you deal
does.
with that?
So when it gets close to August 18th, that's the day that it happened. Like the month leading up to that, I started having nightmares. I start reliving it. I start seeing it, and then it's bad because I feel bad about it because it's like, oh my gosh, this happened so long ago. Why am I still suffering from this?
Right.
But every year, it leading up to it, I do have nightmares. I do have flashbacks. I can see the guy running in. I can hear that voice saying, "If you don't pull him down, you're gonna die." All that.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, hypervigilance. It says the brain doesn't turn off, so you always on high alert.
hmm I am. You're always on high alert, and you always worried about something's gonna happen to you, and you always worried about if something's gonna happen to the people that you love or the people that's around you. So you constantly, it's like worried. It's weird because it's like you always like on high alert, like
Yeah.
want to try to make sure that you good and make sure the people that around you good, and
Right.
it is tiresome.
Right.
because you
But
have to, and you're like, oh, nothing is going to happen. But these thoughts pop up, and you be like, and it's like the worst case scenario. And then it's like, but it's not going to happen. But it's not happening. And you just have to just try to, for me, you just have to try to change the channel, I guess.
but when you say that, okay, one of the things that I'm going through, and Vontae, I see you over there. You talking about your thing. Maybe you should be a guest. Linda's talking about it too. But like the prison thing, it messes you up. And I got a chance to talk a little bit yesterday. I got a chance to get a little bit of it off my chest to somebody that was a part of the situation too. But like it says, hypervigilance, the brain doesn't turn off on high alert. So it's be like I be like zero tolerance for other niggas bullshit. It's like if you on anything that might be able to send me to jail, it's like I just lost 15 years. It's like I get nervous. Like Nick, don't come around me with that. Like
Hmm.
I don't want to be around no guns. I don't want to be around no drugs. Like, listen, bro, I'm gone. You dig what I'm saying? I'll get away from you. You'll look around and I'll be out of there. Be like, dang, we was just partying. Like, no, this isn't the right party. You dig what I'm saying? Just I
Right.
was the one that lived in that cell. You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
Waking up when they tell you to wait, don't know when you coming home. So it's like I get out of there. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so depression and the trauma is like real.
Hmm.
Um,
It is.
but I'm glad that you said that though about living it over and over again and being on high alert. So when I move back in, I can know. Okay. So I gotta put that in my memory cap. So when I come back down into my room, I can know how to handle you. You dig what I'm saying? I don't know. All that walking around and stuff. Close that door and lock the door. I thought you was tripping, but now I forgot. My fault. Okay, so number three, he said trusting others. I think you tapped on that when you said it kind of made you feel like you had to get over the whole point of all Mexicans ain't bad.
Hmm.
You dig what I'm saying? It was just homie. He did some BS. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah.
Hmm.
Because in the joint, I mean, we rock with them. They like our cousins in America. You dig what I'm saying? Because they treat us bad, but then they treat them a little worse. So it's just like, bro, we got to stick together. You didn't, but
Right.
he wasn't on the right. He wasn't on the same page. So what?
Hmm.
But let me ask you this: do anybody know what he was tripping on? What was wrong with it? Why did he come in there and just come after you?
He was on drugs. So he
Okay.
was on drugs. I think somebody in the unit owed him some money. So when he came in there, I guess I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Um, so I don't even know why he attacked me. He probably don't even know why he attacked me.
Right.
But I
Yeah.
mean, I think he did like 7 years. He's out now.
Oh, he did about 7 years.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, he better show hope that the Grices didn't roll up on him because we'll fuck him up. You dig what I'm saying? He don't want to meet the goons and nap. He don't want to see that. You dig what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Hopefully he got him some help. You dig what
I
I'm saying?
hope he did too. I hope he
Yeah,
did.
because that way right there wasn't cool. That was a bad space for everybody.
I think the thing that really affected me through all that is when they told me, he said, "Yeah, I cut her. What about it?" Because at that point, when they told me that, I felt like you just came here to try to take my life, and all you can say is, "Yeah, what about it?" Like I was,
Hmm.
and
Yep.
I think that bothered me for a long time because it was like this man really just
That's
attacked
some
me,
movie shit, Grace. That's
cut
like some
me,
shit you see in a movie,
and like it was like, "Yeah, I cut her. So what about it?" Like I was nothing, and
like
that,
the
that
boogeyman.
bothered, yeah, that bothered me for a long time. That bothered me for a long time.
Cause that's heartless. That seems
Yeah.
scripted. You dig what
Hmm.
I'm saying? That seems scripted, like some shit that you would see in a movie. Like, okay, you out here killing people. You dig what I'm
Right.
saying? And you don't care. Like, you out
Hmm.
here killing. Like, don't you know that I got a daughter? I got a son. You dig what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Don't you know I'm somebody else's daughter? You dig
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I mean, like shit. Like, man, it's like I got a family too, my dude. You dig what I'm saying? While you out here with the knife doing what you doing, you need to go get that motherfucker that owe you money. You dig what I'm saying? That's the one you don't
Yeah.
care about. You don't care about him. It ain't me, homie. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What is his
Mhm.
room number? You want me to walk you upstairs? Like, hold on.
Right.
This is
What you
bullshit.
say his name was?
Right. It's some bullshit, bro.
Right.
Like, man, I probably was that if I'd have been down there, I probably would have did something to go to jail. Like, you dig what I'm saying? Like, fuck that. We're gonna hang out down here for like 90 days, see if a motherfucker run into me. The fourth one he says chronic anxiety or depression. Unprocessed trauma weighs heavy on you. He says you gotta talk to somebody. Did
Yeah.
you feel like you had to get it off your chest?
At one point I did, But then it was like sometimes with the VA is traumatizing because if you go and get help and then you go see somebody else, even though they have it in your records, you still got to talk about it again. And what people don't realize, I guess for me, it was okay. So I'm talking about it again. So now I got to relive this all over again because now I'm bringing up, these triggers, these wounds or whatever. It's bad enough that when I look in the mirror, I see the scars. When I look at my arm, I see the scars. When I comb my hair, I see the scars in the top of my head. Or if I go get my hair done by somebody who don't know me, the first thing they ask is, "What happened to your hair?" Because in the very top of my hair, it's missing, and it's a keloid scar that's shaped like the letter C or like a half moon. So um it is very triggering. It can be very traumatizing. It does cause anxiety. So even though it's happened all these years ago, I still deal with depression. So I have
Right.
bouts with depression. It comes, it goes. Like sometimes I'll be cool, and then sometimes just getting out of bed is
Yeah.
good. And then there's times when I'll snap on people. Like the least little thing, I'll snap because it's
Okay.
like,
Real quick before you go there. Okay.
mhm,
Avoidance of triggers, protecting yourself from anybody or anything that triggers. Your world becomes small and you
mhm,
lash out on people. So
mhm.
that's really real what he was
Yeah.
just saying because that's number five.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll snap out, and that's why I try not to argue with people too, because I feel like if I argue with somebody and I get into a fight with them, I probably just black out and just there's no telling what I'll do because depending on how mad I get, because I still feel like I do still have some anger, even though I've tried to like forgive and release and let go of whatever. There is times where I'm just tired and I'm because I'm not sleeping. Um, like for instance, in the past, I say 3 months, I haven't slept all night in the past 3 months.
Mm,
So I'm tired. Like I'm dead
yeah.
ass tired. Like right now, so even like at work, I try like to be mindful because sometimes I do snap at people and I don't
Yeah.
want to snap at people because it's not their fault. But when you go for days and weeks and months without just proper sleep,
Yeah.
it has an effect. It has an
And
effect.
yeah, and I suffer from that though too, where it's just like I got so many thoughts in my head, and I'll probably try to get it. They finna get me somebody else to talk to, but you know what I mean. I'm trying to process of what I want to do, where I want to be, but you know, I think it's about being like 50, doing
Mhm,
15 years in prison, feeling like you behind, and then you
mhm.
here. Then you know you got a parent that's going through something. You got
Yeah,
a life that you trying to live. You know what I mean? You want to come back and be the best father. And it just seemed like every time you try something, it ain't going right. And
right.
all these thoughts that you had when you was in prison, you come home and it's not that. It's like you missed out on growing with the rest of the world, and the world done grew so far on you that you behind. And as you
Mhm.
try it just seems like you just keep getting hit over the head. Like, boy, this ain't what we doing out here. This ain't what we doing. Here go your mom right now. Here she is. To her. Hey, what's up, Bernice?
I just not off the back of my couch. See, okay, you must lay on the couch when you come in with them bags on the back here.
Okay, thank you. But listen, me and Sean live on the podcast, and you talking to
Oh,
us.
okay, let me get up.
Uh, she said I lost my glasses yesterday, so I must have handed them to her when I gave her her Mother's Day card, or they was on the back of the couch, and so they fell behind in the couch. Okay,
Mhm,
but but yeah, and so it's like a lot of things. So I can definitely relate when you said that you're not getting sleep. You dig
mhm,
what I'm saying that sleep, and people don't understand how irritating it can be because me, I got to get up the next morning and go by appointments and try to get people in, and then there's maybe a little bit of downtime in there, and you think, do you want to go back and lay down? Because you can't, because you got to get back up. You got to try to
mhm.
figure it out. So sometimes it be kind of hard to put your day together, but that sleep is so important. It's
It
like,
is important. It is. I
yeah,
listen to rain sometimes when my mind is wandering. I'll go to YouTube and I'll listen to like the thunderstorms, like the heavy rain, and I'll just focus my mind on that. So that will help me doze off. I don't sleep all night, but it will help me when I'm like really struggling to fall asleep. Because
okay. And so
that's one of the things that they told me when I was in therapy, and they actually gave me a machine that has like nature sounds. So if I can focus my mind on the nature
I try
sound,
that.
then
Yeah.
then it helps me fall asleep. Unfortunately, it don't help me stay asleep, but at least it does help me fall asleep.
I ain't gonna even front. I've been taking like some knockoff sleep aid pills from out of the Dollar Tree. You know what I mean? The ones
Mhm.
that they prescribe for me is too strong. Like so, if you
Yeah.
don't get a full 8 hours on them, 8 to like 10 hours, you wake up, stuff will be shaking on you. So I have to go
Mm.
take something that could still allow me to wake up because that's what I was on. Remember the morning you called and you was like, "Do you know she going to the hospital?" And it was like I didn't hear nothing, no movement, no nothing. So those pills, they'll knock you out the box. What about number six? He says the emotional numbing, disconnected from joy and emotions, sort of just like you standing outside of your life, just like watching it. Like, did you look for a moment? Did you lose the joy? You know what I mean?
I think I probably did. I think for a moment, like in the beginning, I was just like just going through the motion, just getting up, going to work, um, just trying to make it. Really, just trying to just simple stuff, like stuff that people take for granted that you can just get up and do and stuff. Just
Mm,
like simple stuff was like hard. It was just hard to do. But when you got people you got to feed and you got bills you got to pay, you have to just try to push through it. And then I think a lot of times, people, put on this strong front and they act like everything is okay, but deep down inside, I'm gonna tell you something. Depression hurts. And what I mean by that is sometimes your body will be so tired and so fatigued to where it just feels like you just hurt. And it is sort of like a numbing because it's like you just there, but you don't really know how to deal with it. So
mm-hmm.
so
I
I can
swear,
see why some
dang,
people,
that's so real.
become addicted to substances or drink or whatever the case may be, because they're trying to numb that feeling and they're trying to just feel something other than the numbing or the tiredness or the exhausted, just feeling exhausted or just fatigued and just trying to struggle to do just everyday things, just everyday stuff. You just struggling to try to do. I ain't talking about trying to do that real big. I ain't talking about trying to chase
Oh,
no goals or no dreams. I'm talking about you just getting up, trying to get dressed and go to work.
yeah, trying to get up and just get into a groove, into a habit.
Or get up and just go and just get up, or just get up and eat.
Yeah. On the side, cousin Fonzo was like, man was out. So Fonzo, what's up, cousin? He's somewhere tapped in watching us, but they having a conversation over here too, guys.
No.
My little buddy Javante Hurst, he's from Louisiana. That's my little buddy. I cut his hair. He's a really good dude, and he's really motivated. He was saying, talking to someone won't help because they just want to hear, not care, know the difference, not care or know the difference, I guess. And so Anna Brandon, that's our family, our cousin. She was saying, replying to Javante Hurst, that's not true. It's up to the person, and you have to put in the work. And then so Linda is they going in there back and forth. And then
Mhm.
Javante, he said, so you telling me you trust everybody? Be real. All they go do is tell the next man, open your eyes. This is life.
No,
So
Javante, don't see, and that's what I was talking about earlier. And I don't know if he was in here when I said stop talking to people and go sit on somebody's couch. Because
mhm,
yeah, you can talk to your friends, or your family members, and they probably don't care. They just probably want to know your business so they can go back and gossip. And they may not be able to give you any real advice or whatever or suggestions to help you. That's why you have to seek a professional. That's why you can't be afraid to go and speak to a professional, because this person is neutral. They don't have any biases. They don't know you.
right. And so I think what Anna was saying though too, trying to function through trauma is hard, but you have to fight to beat the depression.
You do.
And that's real. And so I think what they trying to say to you, like little bro, is like I understand him because
Hmm.
I'm his barber. So
Hmm.
behind the scenes, he's got a conversation with me that he probably just ain't typing out. So he
Hmm.
basically typing his feelings. He ain't typing the behind the scenes or the backdrop to what's going
Yeah.
down.
Okay.
But so I think what you said to him though, Grices, was really right though. Um, you might reach out for some help, little bro, and everybody else is setting up there telling your business or go tell somebody else
Hmm.
what's happening. And instead, you was telling them, trying to confide in them, trying to just
Hmm.
get it off your chest. But what y'all saying and everybody else is saying in the thing is sometimes you might have to just go get some help. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You might
Hmm.
have to just tap in and go get you some help. Well, we only got an hour, but I tell you what you can do, family. We can do you a podcast so you could talk about it because he been through some things. He had 5 surgeries on his head, and so but I got to tell you, dude, you so tenacious and so strong, man. On keep on learning, and he never give up. He be on the
Yeah.
traveling CNA type stuff, and the little dude dope. I'm telling about he dope, and every now and then he be going through some shit, and it's just I know what he's saying. It get heavy for him, you
It do
know.
get heavy. I mean, because like I said before, depression, you'll have I can only speak for me. You'll have bouts. You'll go months, you might even go years, and then something might trigger you and set you back to square one. And Anna is right. You do have to fight through it, and it's unfortunate, but you got to fight through it. Even when your mind is telling you don't get out of the bed, just lay here or whatever. You got to be able to fight through it and say no. I'm gonna get up. If even if you just have to count to five and say when I get to five, I'm gonna get out of bed. I'm just gonna walk to the kitchen. Something simple to just get you moving. I think because once
Hmm.
you get to moving, then you can start to make momentum.
Right. Yeah,
But
but you
exercise,
gotta,
I'm telling you though, exercise is so important.
because you
Even
feel
if
so good once you do it.
you
If you
do,
give yourself like 90 days of staying to it and sticking to the
mhm,
script after that, your body don't even feel right when you don't exercise. You
yeah.
know,
So even if you start out just by walking, I don't care if you just walk outside and walk up and down your block, but get to moving. If you get to moving, I think that helps.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So number seven, overwhelming shame or guilt, making you think like it was your fault. Is it anything that made you ever feel like that? Like, okay, this is my fault. I did this, or you know what I mean?
No, I ain't never feel like it was my fault. Because I just always felt like, you know what, I was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right.
I don't think that it was my fault. Because if I were to go back in my mind, I could have said, well, I shouldn't have went to exercise at that time. Because I was actually going to go out to eat with some friends, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go to the gym. So I didn't go with them.
Right.
I decided to just go to the gym.
But
So
don't you notice how like when stuff happen and it's a traumatic situation, like how it all those thoughts play in your head, like, dang, what if I'd have just went to go eat? What if I'd
mhm,
have went to go eat? And I that's the thing that played off in my head. It was just like, the situation where I had put these two people out of my room and it was like I went and picked another person up and I just kept kicking myself like, damn, I kicked this person out. Like you was out. You was out of my life. You was out of the drama. You dig what I'm saying? You was out of
mhm,
here. And I why didn't I just stick to the script?
mhm.
So I don't know. Them thoughts beat you up. I got one more video that I want to show you, and they talking about some help, and then we can do some conclusions. Just kind of let some people know. I wish we had some some
Go
hold
see
on. I
that
tell you.
therapist. Yeah, you. Go see that therapist. Your mental would thank you. You tried it your way. You tried to figure it out the best way you can by yourself. It just didn't quite work out. It's okay to need professional help. Go.
Keep your ass healthy. Stop it. Come out of them dark rooms with all that depression. Stop yourself. You go get some help. But you can start by journaling. What do I want?
Mhm.
Who am I? And if you don't know, make some shit up.
She right though, ain't she?
She is right. Journaling does help. Meditation helps. Let me tell you something. Get out of a dark room. Let me tell. When I wake up in the morning, I open my blinds because one of the things my therapist told me was get you some natural sunlight. Do not sit up in no dark house in no dark room and you depressed because
Mm.
all that is going to do is add to extra darkness. Go outside, but if you don't want to go outside, open your curtains, open your blind. I can't stand to sit up in no dark house
I
in
think
the
that's what
blind.
I'm doing, because the basement is dark, the
Yeah.
walls is gray, and I got the
Mhm.
black blinds on there. And I used to try to come up with this excuse that since in prison, they never cut the lights off. We always had to put something over your light. You can never go and get rest. I wanted to make sure that wherever I was laying my head at, I didn't have to see no light. I didn't want to have it
Mhm.
in my head. But when you going through something, You need that natural vitamin D from the sunlight for number one, but you need some sunlight because it
Mhm.
tells you it's time to get up and move.
Yeah.
It's time to get busy. You dig what I'm saying? Hey, Auntie Diane just tapped in. What's up,
I
Auntie?
am. Hey, Auntie. But yeah,
Yeah,
don't sit in no dark room if you're depressed. Do not. Get
right,
up, open your blinds, let that sun come in. Because, like the one house that I lived in, the townhouse, I liked that townhouse, but I didn't like that the downstairs didn't have a lot of natural sunlight. For
right.
some reason, that bothered my spirit, but I actually liked
It bothered your
it.
spirit.
Good.
What do you mean by that?
Because I like to have natural sunlight. Like my bedroom had all kind of light, so I stayed up in my bedroom most of the time. But then it's like now confining myself to one room. So I was never really downstairs because after a certain part of the day when the sun, because there was a lot of trees in the back, and so I just never really got that sunlight in the back. So it was always dark. So you always had to like turn the light on or whatever. But I'm telling you, natural sunlight help. Do not sit in a dark room.
Okay. That's dope.
Mhm.
Okay. I got like one more video I want to show you, and I'm trying to figure this out. What I was trying to say before I was going into the commercials, the next time that I do one, maybe I could try to make a commercial with some information for people that want to just seek some help, maybe some numbers that they can call. Because
Yeah.
I mean, with this video, I just wanted to kind of figure out because I know you've been going through some things, but I was trying to figure you out because I don't know what's going on with you. But we finna see.
You ain't trying to figure it out.
We trying to figure you out.
What the fuck? Stop playing.
Look, you scared as
I get
hell.
it.
Oh well.
Look at this little monkey.
Hey,
You
Alex, behind me though.
I get it.
There was two of them behind me. Yeah, I was scared of monkeys though.
What the
I
fuck?
was scared of the monkeys.
What the fuck? Stop playing.
but I was just trying to figure out, was this a moment where you felt like you was facing fears? Like, cause I'm thinking you walking behind this lion and they walking, he's with his wife, Grace. Like if he
Hmm.
turn around and get mad at you, be like, what you know what I mean? Like what you doing following us? What was you gonna do? Well, where was you gonna go? Did they have guns? What did they have? Because we don't see them.
The people was on the side of them. They had the
But
people on the side of them.
if they turn around and go crazy, what do you got that can save you? What do they got that can
I
save
ain't
you?
had nothing. I ain't had nothing but a
That
stick.
stick. Oh, you had a stick. You
The
had a
stick
stick.
represents respect for the lions. It had their name on it.
That's what the stick had.
Hmm.
No, no bullshit. You talking
Yeah,
about
the
this?
stick had their name on it, and it
But
was
they don't
respect.
read that. They don't know nothing about that stick. Them people minding their business. Don't you see? Like they worried. They looking like, man, what are y'all doing? Like, what? How did they find them? How did they find them and line them up like that?
They trained them from 3 months
Oh,
old.
okay. So they cool lions. They ain't
Yeah,
like out the
they trained
wild.
them. They
They
trained
ain't
them.
okay. I thought they
Oh,
was
they're
like,
wild. They're wild. There's certain stuff we couldn't do, but they trained them. But yeah, there's certain stuff we couldn't do. They're wild. Like when the male lion jumped on the female, started having sex with her, everybody had to just get back.
why is that? They
Cause he
can't.
was very, he was like he was
Right.
having it.
Aggressive.
You saw the picture where he was up in the tree and he was growling for real, like he was
Oh,
roaring for real. Yeah,
yeah. He like that's he a king for real, ain't he?
yeah, he will,
Yeah.
he
He
will.
ain't playing.
Hmm.
Yeah. I would have gave him some dap if I was over there because I understand that part.
Yeah,
When he's
he
up in the tree, you think you'd have been able to
yeah.
give him some dap?
No, when she moved, I moved. But you was standing over me, and she was like, and I was standing next to her, and then she turned to move, and when she moved, I got on up out of there.
Right. So, but
Yeah,
what was the alligator about? What was you doing petting on him? They just want you to touch him?
crocodile. It was a crocodile.
A crocodile?
They just let us pet him. And the reason I was nervous is because I realized that there was two more behind me that was just laid out behind me. So when I bent down and my knees bad, so I couldn't bend all the way down. So I'm touching it because the skin on it is real soft. So I'm
Is it?
petting him, but then it dawned on me that there was two like right behind me. So I was like, you know what? Let me get from over here.
So what was that, like a little safari, like a part of the trip that they set up for y'all?
Mhm, mhm.
What part of Africa was you in?
Senegal. That was Senegal. And then we went to the Gambia.
Okay.
So we went to two parts, two countries.
I was just trying to figure, like, we from the hood. Like, I don't know why you decided to go do that when you went over there. I'm like,
Well,
we are,
it
we,
was the only reason I went. When I saw the video, when they was showing the
man,
video before I went, I was like, I'm going to Senegal.
man.
That was the only reason because it was either Ghana or Senegal. When I saw that, I was like, I'm going over and walking these lines.
I Yeah, and that's it. That's what you wanted to do.
That's what I wanted to do.
You've
And
been
then I
thinking.
was like, well, what if they? Because then I was like, well, what if they turn around and they?
That's what I was thinking.
That's what I was
I'm
thinking.
looking like I'm like, man, if these moves turn around
And that's
and
what I was
do just
thinking
like,
before we actually went into the park with them. I was like, well, what if they turn around and attack me? But
because you
then
see the
once
videos.
you get there and you see how many people that is there, and they have people on both sides of them, and they explain to you. And like I said, when the male started having sex with the female, that was the only time they told us just back up and be still. But
Right.
other than that, it was it wasn't. I don't know, but I wasn't afraid. I was less afraid of the lions than I was of the monkeys. I did not want the monkeys touching me.
Man, because they got all types of shit, and then they go crazy, and they'll jump on you. You
They
dig what
did.
I'm
They
saying?
was jumping on people's shoulder and stuff, and then they
No.
was one of them came and took the peanuts out of my hand or whatever, and I was like, I don't
So you
like that.
disrespectful. Like, yeah, you rebellious dog. We don't do that where we from. You don't come snatching another people here.
Yeah.
You need some lessons. You dig what I'm saying? Like straight up.
And then they
But
said it was like 400 of them in that little park, and I was like, mm-mm.
400.
Mhm.
Do anybody got a gun though? Is there
No,
a gun on deck? Oh
they did
hell
not
no.
have a gun.
I ain't going out there without no ain't nobody got no blick. I'm cool. But listen, I want you to give if you had any type of advice to give people, you dig what I'm saying? Because it seemed like after the tragedy and the trauma though, you did get back to living though. You dig what I'm saying? You've been doing like you've been all out to Dubai and shit. That little Africa, I thought that was cool. Can you read Javante's little message what he just now saying? I'm gonna put it on there.
I can see.
I'll read it out. He says, what can you tell me if you tried everything the fucking doctor then gave you, still don't work, 5 surgeries and it don't work, popping meds every day, trying to figure it out when it's go, stop. Man, that shit's scary.
Okay. Um, you got to try to find something that works for you. Because sometimes the doctors are not right. Sometimes the doctors don't give you what you need. I stopped going because I felt like they was wasting my time. So I had to start reading. I had to start watching videos. I had to start studying. I had to start journaling. I started meditating. I just really exercise. And when those thoughts come up, you have to just be like out, or you have to like one doctor said, change the channel.
Mhm.
You have to find something that really works for you. If there's a hobby or something that you like that you can do that will take your mind off of it. For me, when I get depressed, I decorate.
Right. Try
Like
to find something to
I'll
do.
start redoing because once I'm decorating and I'm redoing stuff and I'm at the store and I'm putting this together and I'm putting the color schemes together for this room and I'm getting the accessories and all this and that, I don't think about it
Right.
because my mind is on that. So you have to find that thing that you can do that will take your mind off of that you can get lost in. Because if I start decorating, doing a decoration project or a DIY project, I might be up all night doing it.
Yeah.
But it calms me. It takes my mind off of whatever I'm going through, and it helps me with the depressions. Because then it's like once I get through that and I see the finished work, then I'm able to say, okay, I can move on to something else, or I've come out of that. So you gotta, he said, but when you're younger, got goals that will scare you because you got goals and you're scared. And
In the
do it while
ground.
you're scared. You gotta be like Nike, just do it. You gotta do it even while you're scared.
Okay. So I'm
Because the
gonna put
thing
it up
is,
there. So let me read it out
even if
loud
you
real quick.
fail, you tried. You know how
Yep.
many things I tried and
Oh,
I was like, I don't like this.
man, you know what? That's it. And I'll tell a person at any time because that's one thing about me. I'm not scared of rejection because I'm already living in no. So what you gonna
Hmm.
tell me? So what's gonna happen if I get up and get to it and then I get the yes or I get the results that I was thinking
Hmm.
about? You dig what I'm saying? So here's the thing, little bro. You said this, but when you're young and you got goals and shit like that will scare you because you got goals and you be scared it will end in the ground. So a lot of times I get what you're saying. It be those fear factors, man. And
Mhm.
sometimes I got this model when I came home from prison. Anything that I was scared to do, I was gonna run into it head on. It's either two things gonna happen. You gonna whoop me, I'm gonna whoop you.
Mhm.
That's how it's gonna be. And that's a prison mentality. When you go
Mhm.
to prison, it's like this. You not finna talk crazy to me. It's only two things that can happen. Okay, we got beef, we got smoke. Either you gonna whoop me or I'm gonna whoop you. Let's get to the results. You dig what I'm saying? Because the rest of this ain't nothing. So that's what it's gonna have to be, little bro. It's gonna have to be like, man, you finna go do it. Anna, you said something that was dope up there in some of the comments, like past before. You said something. The therapy will work, but you have to put in the work. You got to
Yeah,
put in the work.
you
And
got
let me
to.
see what she just said right now. She says, replying to Devontae Hurst, Javante, your trauma is different, sweetheart. You have a TBI. There is now a chemical imbalance that you're dealing with. You have to find different coping mechanisms.
Mhm.
It seemed like you're pretty smart in that family. So I don't know where you got that type of knowledge from, but we need to talk. Maybe you need to come on here. But so Javante, look at her Facebook page and maybe you can inbox her and message her, and maybe she can give you some tips and pointers on what to do because cuz he's a very good dude. I'm talking
Mhm.
about he's super. When I say he's super solid, I'm not just saying that because he's my client in the barbershop. But the dude, he loves to learn. He don't got no kids. He loves to travel. And I'm talking about he don't bother nobody. He ain't no hater.
Yeah.
He ain't out here disrespect. He don't do gangs. He don't do the drug type. He drink a little bit, but other than that, he get fresh and he out the way. So I respect you as a little young dude. So just keep doing your thing. Keep your head up and don't give up, little bro. And we might have to put
Yeah.
you on the show and talk about it. And then Anna, maybe we can get some other people to come back where we can just kind of have that hour and let him do his thing and vent and
Yeah.
talk and maybe and give him something if everybody want to come back. But Grice, give him something. If you had to tell somebody something about trauma, what kind of advice would you give them?
Trauma don't last always. It's hard when you're going through it, but keep going through it. Take it one day at a time. Take it if you have to 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time, whatever you have to do. But don't give up because if somebody does something to you that causes you trauma and then you give up,
They
that
beat you.
person has won twice.
Hmm.
So I say get the help that you need. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Find what works for you and run it. Because
Yeah,
everything is not going to work. What works for somebody else may not work for you, but you find what worked for you and then you face it head on and you do it with complete abandonment. Don't be afraid to try something new. Don't look at it as failure, look at it as learning. Now you just learn what you don't like, and then you could go and try to do something else that you might like. But don't let trauma stop you because
yeah,
it can stop you. Don't
yeah.
let like I think it was Anna that said you have to fight.
You got to. And
You
I
got
mean,
to.
I think it's deep because if not, you see a lot of people, they'll commit suicide, they'll do
Mhm.
something, or and like you said, sometimes them drugs don't work. So
Mhm.
be conscious of what's going on and seeing if it's making steps to help you because a lot
Mhm.
of times doctors will medicate you just to get you out the way
Just to
because
get
they
you out.
get paid for it. They get
Yeah.
paid for it, so they'll throw you on a bunch of pills, keep you slobbering and keep you numbed, and now you just walking around and you ain't
Mhm.
handling no business. But what do they care? They still getting paid whatever
Yeah.
they get paid an hour. You dig what I'm saying? So it's nothing. But
Medication ain't always the key. So if medication is not working and you can find something else that works, then I say whatever works for you, make it work for you.
all right. And Anna, we're gonna be doing this on Mondays. We calling it Mental Health Monday. So we got like a couple of more weeks in May. Let's try to do something together and stuff like that. Grace is my new co-host. She's my new business partner. So
That's
she'll
what
be
I told you. You can't commit me. You can't commit my. You can't make plans for my time now.
Listen, I already made the commercial, and now you done up here sounding smart. Don't let these people down. Don't let the people down. They counting on you. Like on Mondays now, they counting on you. So even if we don't do every Mondays, tap in sometime because the people counting on you. They want to see you. I'm saying, don't let them down. Okay, and listen to this. And just remember, you are not alone. Okay, Javante, you're not alone. Nobody is alone. But listen, Grace, that's cool. I think it was dope, man. So I
Mhm.
think people got something out of it.
I hope so.
We'll try to see if we can do something like next week. And if you free, then pop up, okay?
Okay.
All right, I love you. We